welcome to Craft Quest. I am your host, MyLadySprout, or Gabby, whichever one. And today we are going to be making a Geb planter. So one thing that I've noticed people have been getting into during quarantine is plants. People are becoming new plant parents, you know? Learning a little bit about botany. So I figured we should let your love of SMITE, or even Paladins maybe, and transfer that to your plants, you know, just for some decoration. Your plants already look beautiful on their own, but you know, we're gonna zhuzh them up a little bit with some fun SMITE stuff. So I have a lot of clay here, and some parchment paper to, you know, so I don't get clay all over my my table surface thing here, and then some water to, you know, help myself use the clay a little bit. And yeah, just picked this up at Home Depot. Also, I ordered a bunch of clay. They have curbside pickup at my local craft store, so might as well. And I've only done a limited amount of clay work in my life, some pottery, but not with this kind of clay. So it'll be a fun experience for the two of us. I mean, I don't know how many of you are there. Me and all of you. So in terms of the clay, I'm gonna start off with a whole bunch of white clay. I wasn't sure how much I was gonna need, so I got a big hunk of it, you know, because usually they come in these tiny little ones, and I knew this wasn't gonna be enough to, you know, make a whole cover for this. So what I figured is that this can be the base of it, and then we can like add this for detail, and then maybe even fill in some spots with paint. This is gonna be a journey, you know? I'm only gonna grab one of the blocks. And even this, I might be able to piece it out. I probably wanna piece it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and go grab a, whoa, look at that, that's fun. I feel like in little, like sheets of like rods, I guess. Interesting. I'm gonna go get a like butter knife so I can kind of cut this a little bit easier. And a lot of it is also a matter of just like working it with your hands, because right now it's kind of room temperature, and the more you know, warm it up with your hands, the easier it is to use. So I went ahead and got a little butter knife here, as well as a spoon for later. I figured it'd be good for making some sort of textures and things using both sides of the spoon. You know, just different tools to be able to use. So we're gonna make a base out of this. Let me go ahead and cut this up. We're just gonna work with it, and I'm gonna basically just be putting this on it and kind of building a little structure around it. We won't make it too crazy big because I have heard that Sculpey doesn't shrink quite as much, but it might do like a 2 or 5%, you know, shrinkage. So we'll give a little bit of wiggle room just to be safe. Okay, so then I'm gonna basically put this down here, and I'm going to just mark around with the butter knife to kind of know how big I want it to be. And I do want it to look a little more natural since, you know, Geb is a rock. So don't have to be super duper particular about a perfect circle or anything. So now that I've thinned this out, it doesn't have to be a crazy consistent thing, as long as, you know, this can sit in on it. It's all good. So now that I've done this, I'm gonna put that to the side, and I'm gonna make a more rectangular piece that will basically be the walls. And I'll probably just kind of grab some of these, kind of mesh them together. I'm trying to see if I have anything that I can use as a rolling pin. In theme with quarantine, I got, you know, a can of disinfectant spray. I mean, you could technically just use an actual rolling pin, but I don't really want to use the one that we have in our kitchen because I don't really know how food safe this is. So I'm just not going to. And I had that rolled out, but then I realized I need a little bit more. So I'm just gonna add in some more clay into this whole thing, so we really know we'll have a good amount for the walls. Huzzah! All right, so obviously I'm not gonna put it together like this. I just wanted to make sure it was, you know, big enough to get around. And I can also go ahead and cut a little bit off the top here, I think. And cut about an inch, just so it kind of matches more the height that's there. And with this, I will add to the sides. Not quite sure how I'm going to flip this. There we go. Okay, that stayed together fairly nicely. I'm just going to try and pinch it together on the bottom side here. Yeah, if you don't have, like, you know, a proper potter's wheel and, you know, proper clay, then you need to have a project that'll look a little bit more natural at the end, you know? You don't want anything that's gonna have to be a really clean cut, because that's not what you're gonna get with this. Just not what you're gonna get. And I'm also sure that you could technically buy like a terracotta clay pot, because I know that those are oven safe, and you could technically make little clay bits to then like glue onto it once, you know, all of it's together. I don't know how well the clay itself would stick to terracotta, but that's another approach you could take. I mean, it's standing up. I'm not sure like how, you know, beautiful we'd say it is, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So, you know, if I say it's beautiful, then that's the only opinion that matters. So this still fits inside. So I feel like this is a pretty good success so far. And actually, I can even bring it down a little bit more. And this one I'll actually use my scissors to kind of cut it to the size that I want it. Now it's got some fabric on this. We'll find some way to give it some structure once we put it into the oven. Still trying to think on that, but I'm sure we'll find a way. So here's this beautiful baby right now. And now I'm gonna pull up a reference picture of Geb, and I'm going to use these to try and build some texture onto it. And I do think I'm gonna have to end up painting it at the end, because I don't really have enough of this brown. I have like these two little things of brown and then this brown, but it'll all work out. I'm sure that the different colors of brown will work out really nicely. I also have some gray here, you know, so we can mix it all together. So we'll see how it goes. Here is basically the head with, like, I guess his shoulders. There's just like the two big rocks that kind of hang out in what would be the shoulder area. And I still want to put the little like pillars that are on top over there. But obviously his are floating, and this one I cannot make float. So I just kind of added them to the sides, and I just kind of took a hunk of clay and kind of put it on, and then I would put little pieces on top, because he is very segmented into little rock pieces. So that's kind of what I did. And here's his head. It's actually starting to come off. I think I have to add a little bit more clay on the inside on the back, so then it kind of gives structure. Also, that's kind of why I wanted to bring down here, and I also added a little bit more clay to the front, just so there's a little bit holding it down underneath, so it doesn't just, you know, fall right off. And one thing I did notice with the spoon is when I go with the back of the spoon and I kind of just make little, you know, downward motions, then it really does give a rock-like texture to it if you kind of do it all next to each other. And then I am just gonna keep kind of adding on little splotches of, you know, texture, and then kind of bringing some more rock feel to it with this spoon here. And I'll see how it is. I also decided to just do it all in white. I started to try to put a little bit of the brown on, but there's so little of the brown that I don't think that it'll make a difference. So I'm probably just gonna have to end up painting the entire thing at the end, which is no big deal. You know, it is what it is. So I guess I'll just keep adding on clay. now I've gone in and, ooh, there's thunder outside. So I've gone on and I've put on like little splotches basically of clay to act kind of as little sections of rock. And then after I put those on, then I went ahead with like various little bits from this spoon, this butter knife, and then this like kitty scissors to add more grooves and more details like his eyes and his mouth, just so the grooves are deeper so there's more definition to the whole thing. I also made these little like monoliths, I guess is what they are. They go here on his little shoulders. Oh my god, the rain. I bet you can hear that rain. I bet you can hear the rain. There will be rain in the background. So these little monoliths that are kind of on his shoulders, I made them, but they're gonna be gray. So I'm gonna bake them separately and glue them on afterwards just so I can paint them as two separate pieces. So yeah, now that I feel like it's pretty well defined, it's got a little bit of roughness to it, but I kind of like that because it looks more rocky to me. And per the instructions, I need to put this on an oven-safe work mat or oven-proof glass or metal surface, and put that into the oven at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. There's thunder if you can hear that. Or 130 degrees Celsius, wherever you are, you know. And I do it for 15 minutes per 1/4 inch, or 6 millimeters of thickness. So there are some spots that are thicker than that and some spots that aren't. So I'm gonna put it in for 15 minutes and then monitor it from there, and probably just kind of do it at 5-minute intervals to make sure that it's good and sturdy. And then we'll give it, I'll probably do a spray paint coat over the entire thing of just a plain black, not black, plain brown. And then I can go in with my acrylic and kind of bring in some darker browns or some lighter browns at different spots. And also maybe some greens because he has like moss on him. So yeah, looking good. Let's go to the next step. I put a coat of clear on at first, just so the main spray paint doesn't, you know, soak into the clay too much. And then I put a layer of brown spray paint on top of it over the entire thing. And once that was dried, I brought it in and I put black paint over into all the crevices and all of the little areas that need more definition. And I took a wet paper towel to wipe away the black on the surface, so then the black in the crevices stayed and give the whole thing more definition. And then I did a similar thing with a lighter brown, where I went in on all of the kind of higher points on the stone, and then I kind of blotted the paper towel on instead of wiping it away, so it kind of stays on and gives a little more texture to the whole thing. I also went ahead and put gold on his eyes to make them pop a little bit more. And then I went ahead and put 3 different colors of green, basically just on top of each other, starting with the lightest color, going darker, and I just kind of blotted that on with some paint to look kind of mossy. And then I just hot glued the monoliths on top with the gray paint on those, and I went ahead and did all the little detail painting on that too. And then it was looking freaking good. So here is the planter. I think it looks so amazing. At first I was kind of unsure of how it was going to turn out. When I was just carving it, I was like, alright, this is alright. And then I took it out of the oven and I was like, okay, this is looking alright. And then every layer I put on, it just looked better and better. So I'm very happy with how it turned out. And I think this one's like one of the coolest ones that I've done so far, in my opinion. And then all there's left to do is to put the plant in it. And it just like completes the whole look and makes it look like even more amazing somehow. So I'm very, very happy with this. I hope you guys try something like this at home. If you want to try something else in SMITE and Paladins, you know, lots of options. Take pictures of it, send it my way. And yeah, even if you want to do some of the past crafts that you haven't gotten a chance to and you got some extra time, go for it. Just, you know, message me those pictures, or not message, tweet me at MyLadySprout on Twitter. Also tweet me any ideas you have for any future episodes, because, you know, I'm still here, still doing them, so I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye!